And it looks like we've got our first cars coming out. Starting off with Potato 50 for Williams. Has been a decent driver over the majority of this season. So far, sitting on a very nice 55 points overall. As it seems the Sam drives 42 as well is on their out lap now. Also, this is really loud. Let me turn the game down. Sorry for this. I don't know where. There we go. Let me know if there's any audio errors in the chat and I will get them amended as soon as I can. And there we go. That's all sorted out now. That's the promotion done. Hello there, Wadey. How are you today? Home race back. Been a long season. It's looking like the Williams are going to be giving each other a tow here. Or maybe not. Sam's backing off. Sector 3, yellow flag. I don't have the map up, so I can't tell where exactly that is. Probably just from Sam going slowly. Sam's also on the mediums. It's an interesting choice here to start off with. Would have thought that they would have went for softs, considering how close this fight is. There's also cars coming right out of the pits, right in front of them. That's going to be very awkward to navigate around. Sam gets blocked by the Alpine. Looks like they're still going though. Not going to abort yet. The AlphaTauri goes wide in the background. Sector 1 yellow, that's probably the AlphaTauri. It's definitely the AlphaTauri. That's a lot of Ferraris. That's going to be detrimental for this lap for Sam. That's just unfortunate there. Apex is also starting off their flying lap on the soft tyres, looking a lot more likely to go in pole. Only one car in the way of POR Ben. Slight bit of over rotation at the start. There's an Aston Martin. Yellow flags up at the chicane. Going to be Pixels having a bit of a spin, possibly. Yep. That's a very poor place for that to be. Can't get moving. Pixels is stuck and unable to get moving. This is unfortunate. With no resetting to track, they can't do that either. Pixels has been disqualified from qualifying. That is just unfortunate for Aston Martin. And of course, gets right on going again. Back up to the top, though, Sam goes second with a 26.7. Not the best lap as you see Potato. They're definitely going to go again. Got blocked a few times. Just unfortunate. Finishing off their lap now, though, is Apex coming around the final corner. Not sure how this has been. Ben goes quickest on a 1:22.002. And Apex goes second with a 22.7. As Pixels say, they got genuinely stuck in the gravel trap. That is unfortunate. There's a Sector 1 yellow flag as the Alfa Romeo, it looks like. Slows down, lets the cars past. Both the AlphaTauris. All these cars are going very slow as Apex is now slowing down too. Jumping back on board though with Sam. Very quick through the chicane. For a good exit to this lap. Very sharp corners at the end of the lap. Don't want to over-rotate on them. Minor adjustments to the wheel on exit. This lap puts Sam up into the same position, but improves to a 23.7. Still behind their teammate though by over a second, and off of Apex too. Looks like the AlphaTauris are going to be going for a lap, running aboard now with Bly Apper as Riki Racer goes up into fifth, sorry, as Bly just improves. That's my bad, they're not going for a lap. Gets blocked by the Alpine though, if they were continuing. The Alpine was off the track there. Might have been a bit of a punt. Not sure if I see any wing damage though. It looks like it. There is possibly something. As Riki is typing in the Discord, they're in AI mode, so something's happened there. As Ben looks to be going for another lap now. Looking to improve their already massive margin onto second place. That's a spin! They're out! Oh, God! Spin for POR Ben as they come round the... What is that? The 5th corner, I want to say? Yep. Seems like it. That's that lap aborted and a set of tyres damaged. Front wing gone as well. Apologies for the early call and them being out. It's usually stuff that you see with that type of crash. It's going to be very detrimental to their qualifying efforts. Not like it matters though. It's already 7/10 up. Slow moving AlphaTauri, anyway. Possibly saving up for the next lap. Just in the garage. Blas moving very slowly, but Blas into the pits. Saskia starts her lap. Yellow flag, sector 3. Possibly the Alfa Romeo, it looked like. That shouldn't be though, considering he was in the pit. Reading up as far as I can aware, Saskia's goal for today is to just finish the race. Something that she's done a few times. Points-wise, don't want to sound mean, but can't really say the same much. Sitting on an entire 1 point, 155 off the lead. There's a Haas spun round as well. That'll be weighty. That's backwards. Into the wall as well. That could have torn a wheel if you were in real life. Doesn't look like any damage though. Might be able to get going again. Just because nothing visual though doesn't mean that there isn't anything at all. Saskia's over the line, sitting a lap of a 1:25.9. A solid 2.5 seconds off the back. As there is a Ferrari round of Kibi. That is a dangerous place as Apex goes around for another lap. Thank God we have ghosting on. Off the racing line as well, but still could have been a problem area. As well as another car spun round. The same place that Ben lost the wing. That will be the Alpine, I want to say, of Riki. Yellows all over the track now. I also must have missed it when Treeboy set the 22-0 as well as Wadey setting a 22-1. It's a very close fight now up at the top. Apex and Sam are still further down the field. Apex not improved much over their lap. Sam did get down to a 23-2. Definitely going to be looking for some more though. There was a car off the track there, one of the Alpines. Whoa! Alpine's nearly driving each other off the road there for a second. That could have been dangerous. Don't know who was who, but caught it anyway. Here comes Apex. Around the final corner. Alpine's off the road. On the grass on exit, that's going to be understeer. That's on the grass even more. That's that lap ruined. Almost losing it around the final corner and cuts across the pit entry to get into the pits. Sam goes for another outlap. Trying to improve, trying to beat their rival. So it looks like there's a Ferrari now on one of the laps. That'll be Kibi. It's riding board with them for the lap. And as I say that, they're into the wall. Curse of the commentator is really striking high tonight, isn't it? I'm also surprised the Red Bull of Harrison M hasn't actually went out yet. Unless they've just joined the session and I haven't noticed. Kiwi was massively stuck on the curb there, causing the yellow flag to be thrown for the sector, but they're back up to speed now. Let's go back onto Sam. They're approaching to start their flying lap. Looks like their teammates just ahead of them might be a sliver of a toe down the straight, possibly. Ferrari's coming out of the pits, that'll be Tree Boy. Purple sector 1. It's looking good. There is the slow car of Potato though. Possibly teamwork here. Yep, definitely is. Toe for the straight, over the chicane. Bit of a cut on entry. There's still the Haas though to get past. Haas is on the outlap. Haas gets out of the way though. That's nice, good sportsmanship. Around the final few corners. It's been looking quick so far from my point of view. Slight bit of understeer around the final corner, gets up into the curves. Still a very solid lap though to the line. Sam goes pole with a 1:21.993. That was a blistering pace lap. Let's see what Apex possibly has to answer, as they are now on an outlap. Coming up to the end. Ricky and Blood dive to the pits. No toe looks to be possible for Apex. Teammate disqualified from the session earlier on, due to being stuck into the gravel trap and unable to move. Apex is really going to have to pull all of it out the bag here. Around the final corner. Good setup. Close into the barrier, onto the curb. Up to the line to start the lap. Let's ride on board. Solid and stable throughout the first sector. Gotta hold it in through this corner though, it's fast and you can lose grip. Holds it stable though. Very fast first sector, not a purple though. But there's still the rest of the lap to possibly improve on. Slightly wide throughout the corner. Now up to the long run to the very fast chicane. Tree Boy now goes pole on a 1:21.8. Sorry, I wasn't riding on with that. Apex cutting the corner for both of them. Somehow the lap isn't invalidated, but that's gonna be a big cut. Possibly a big time gain as well. Might just get him a bit more time to get him up the grid. Needs to find 0.8 of a second though over this lap. And he very well might have done it. Very good through the final corner. Sorry, second to last corner. Now through the final. Over the curves, good, kept it in. DRS wide open up to the line. This lap puts Apex in 2 seconds above Sam at a 1:21.8. It was very quick. Setting the purple final sector, most likely through the corners, through the chicane. Slightly runs off the road though. Harrison M finally comes out the pits, only going to get one shot at being qualifying. As Riki retires from the session, they're not going to be any higher than 7th. What happened to Riki, I wonder? Oh, just willingly retires. As far as I can find out anyway. Never mind, they're saying fuck in all caps within the Discord. Presume that wasn't intentional. There is a car spun round as well. That looks to be... Never mind, that is just the Alpine. My apologies. Kibi now approaching onto the back of Apex. Very fast lap. Apex gets out of the way. Oh, big slide off the exit of the corner. That's going to be a lot of time lost there. Had to correct it pretty quickly. Kept out of the wall though. Another slide of the final corner as well. It's not going to be an amazing lap. Sets him faster than Saskia with a 1:23.9. As Sam's going for another outlap. It's going to be close, but they're going for it again. And I think Apex is not going to respond. Apex is in the pits and they're not going to make it round. As Kibi gets a 5-place grid penalty for colliding with Mateto. And Mateto's lost the front wing as well. That must have been a big collision. Kibi's stuck in the gravel trap. Kibi's not moving. They're going to get disqualified. And as I say that, they're moving again. This has been a fucking huge accident, though, for a front wing to be taken off. That spells the end to both of their qualifying. Yellow's in Sector 1, as Kibi is still refusing to move. Might be trying to force a yellow to end off the qualifying. But they're back and moving again. And into the wall. But Sam's now going for their lap. Crosses the line with about 15 seconds to spare as far as I can see. Gonna have to pull out the bag. 10th and a bit to find. Let's see what you have, Sam. The Alfa Romeo of POR Ben might get cut off by Mateto's wingless Alpha? Alpine? Sorry. No, it's not an Alpine, it's a fucking Williams. I am not cut out for doing this, sorry. Ben now coming up to line on the map. Sets pole with a 1:21.3. That's a massive improvement. As Wadey retires from the session as well. Going over the curbs nicely at the chicane, setting a purple Sector 2. Keep it in nightly, don't over-rotate. Slightly bit wide, there's a Williams just in the middle of the road. That's not going to be the best. Goes second, out qualifies Apex, but doesn't quite get pole with a 1:24. 1:24? 1:21.4. It's a blisteringly quick lap. And that's the end of qualifying, as I missed the chance to screenshot. And here is your qualifying order for the Australian Grand Prix. On pole position, we have the Alfa Romeo of POR Ben. Very quick driver. But in second, championship contender, Sam drives 42. With a blistering speed in that Williams. With a huge gap to Apex, about 0.4 of a second. Let me put this into there. And there we go. Screenshot's been obtained. Sam and Apex will be starting on the same side of the grid on the same tyre. In fact, everyone looks to be starting on the softs. The only people with choice are Saskia and Pixels. Timer's done, we're on the grid. As the formation starts, here is the final rundown for the grid ordering. On pole position, Alfa Romeo driver POR Ben 12, setting the blisteringly fast time of a 1:21.3. Bringing up in second, Sam drives 42. Championship contender, but still a ways behind Apex. In order for the championship to be kept alive, from this position for Sam, let me find the image. If Sam does not move from this race, Apex needs to drop to 5th, or Sam needs to take the fastest lap to keep the championship alive. Sorry, my mistake. Apex must finish below 5th if Sam does not move up any positions. In 3rd is Ferrari driver Treeboy53, a solid contender all season, scoring a decent amount of points, as well as a pole position at some point. I haven't been keeping up. 4 podiums over the season, over the 7 races that they have entered. Very quick for the Ferrari driver. And current championship leader LS Apex 66 is in 4th. Starting on the same side of the grid as Sam. Not the most ideal place you want to be, especially behind another car. However, leading the championship by 35 points, Apex could wrap it all up today. Returning driver and home Grand Prix contender is Miwadi XO48. Not played the game, not driven with us even for 2 months due to real life issues. Kiwi is disqualified, along with Apex, it seems. Not Apex, sorry, that is Pixels. I'm too used to seeing the graphics for qualifying. Bringing up in 6th is Potato50, another solid driver and teammate to Sam over the season, hoping to bring it closer together into Constructors' Championship. Bringing up the final 4 positions is Riki Racer, Harrison M, Bly Apper, and Saskia Mall. Let's jump up to the front again for our launch. Let's go on board with Sam. Not on board, let's follow along. Grid positions are reformed. 1, 2, 3, 4. The 5 red lights are on. And it's go for the Australian Grand Prix. Ben gets an excellent start, as does Sam. Ben covers off immediately. Sam moves to the outside for the turn 1. Looks like Apex is slowly dropping back. Gets up ahead, back behind Treeboy. Coming around the second corner. Everyone seems to be around clean. There's a car spun. Who is that? That is Potato50. They are out of the race. And a safety car has been deployed for the start. Should have frozen. Apex drops down to 5th position. Not the start that they would have wanted. Sam keeps position in 2nd. Not sure what happened there. It happened at the far back of the grid. Harrison M got a blistering start, it seems, up into 6th from being lower down in the grid. General consensus from what I'm reading in Discord seems to be that Riki was at fault for that. The Alpine driver doesn't seem to have any damage on the car. Unsure if we'll see any drivers go into the pits for this lap. Doesn't seem like the pit stop strategies are allowing it. 2 stop races, you're going to have to go in around lap 8. Doesn't seem like there's any point to the 2 stop though. Considering you wait 1 lap longer, you can go into the mediums and end the race. The whole grid at least is very condensed. We'll be going back behind the safety car, as I'm sorry, but Riki does go in, as does Harrison and Apex. A lot of cars are going in. Front runners PR Ben and Sam drives don't. Along with the 2 Alpha Tauris, as well as the Ferrari of Kiwi. Everyone else pits. Medium tyres go on. Seems like for the whole field. However, Apex hasn't had the best of time within this pit stop. Dropping down further to 8th for the start. Long way to fight back for Apex today. But you never quite know what could happen. You pit to let Apex ahead and it backfired. Well, he's still behind you, but you never know, off the restart, anything could happen. It's likely we're going this lap as Harrison M seems to have spun around in the Red Bull, losing position but overtaking Pixels again. Possibly being allowed by the race control. Should hopefully be green this lap. These cars should catch up to the back and we'll get another couple of racing laps. Hopefully we don't see anything like that again. As it seems we might be under safety car for another lap actually. Yep, we're yellow for another lap. It's unfortunate, but it's the way that racing goes. As Harrison M drops into the pits, possibly for a new front wing. And it is, I can see it getting changed up at the front. Onto medium tyres for the Red Bull. He's going to have a lot of work to do to catch up. And depending on how long it takes, we might be under yellow for yet another lap after this one. Sam could be in prime position here for a perfect launch off the restart too. Still decently fresh softs, going to be getting a lot better launch than all the ones back behind unless he gets delayed. Interesting tyre warming strategy there for Ben. Very quick through the corner. But if it works, it works. You never know. I haven't personally tried it myself. As Harrison M in the Red Bull seems to have caught up to the back of the grid, we should be going green at the end of this lap. Yep, as confirmed, safety car in this lap, we're going green. The Aston Martin accelerates off into the distance to get back to the pits. It's now up to Ben to control the field. Looks to be a very fast restart that he's going for, considering the safety car is still on the track just in front of them, only just pulling into pit lane now. I suspect Ben to be going out of the final corner at this rate. Be the most beneficial. Still warming. And it's go. Or not quite yet. And now it is. We are back to racing for the Australian Grand Prix. Ben gets the jump on the entirety of the field as Riki's falling down. Apex gains position. Yellow flag pops up for a second. Wrong way, sorry. As the Ferrari is now, Trikibi has spun around the corner. Doesn't seem to be any damage to that wing apart from an end plate. Sorry, my mistake. Yes, the end plate is gone off the end of the wing. That's held up Apex as well behind them. Apex running to the back, getting pushed out over the curb, stuck on it. No, that's disaster for Apex. Not standing well as Pixels dives off the road to let Apex past. So there is a yellow flag for Apex, or not Apex, sorry, Pixels going off the road. Jumping back up to the front, Ben seems to be getting a decent lead over Sam, 7/10 of a second, 6/10, 5/10. There is a car spun round, virtual safety car deployed. That is, let's see, that is Tree Boy. With no front wing. I wonder what's happened there. I didn't quite catch it. Start of this race has not been good for the two Ferraris. Wing damage for both. They're going to both be going in at some point to fix it, but that's going to be a long stack for both of them. And we're back to green as they go in. That is a horrible timing for them. They're going to lose even more time through the pits now. as Apex fights Riki through the corner. Riki in the hard tyre. Riki goes off the road. Trying to defend it. Apex is through, up into 7th. As Saskia as well is currently running in 4th, a very high position. It seems that Wadey is now hit errors, going off the track at turn 1. Is not the return to racing that they would have wanted, especially not at their own home race. Riki's gotten back past Apex, going through the corners now. He's to the inside, Riki on the outside, heading towards the braking zone. Apex will have the inside line. Riki goes off the road on a hard tyre as the Red Bull of Harrison M is ghosted on the end of the screen. Still the battle between these two are raging on. Apex wanting to get past as soon as he can to try and wrap up the championship. But as it stands, it'll go on to Bahrain. With 24 more laps of this race remaining, you never quite know what could happen. Fight at the front's getting evenly spaced out. I'll jump on board with that once the intervals get closer. Apex very aggressive on the brakes, gets quite close to the back of the Alpine as Ben sets the fastest lap at a 1:26.174. Down the straight, he's going to get the slipstream. Might think about a move into the first corner. Goes to the inside, alongside each other now, first corner. Brakes late, Riki stays ahead but goes off the track. Round the outside. Each driver leaving each other just enough room. The hard tyres on that Alpine are not going to help it any. Down the inside into the next corner. It's very late braking from Apex as Riki goes off the track. Apex moves up into 5th. POR Ben pulling out a 2-second lead up at the top. Very far ahead for the Alfa Romeo. You can see the gap there to the cars behind. It's huge as Sam has dropped into 3rd behind Blayapper in the AlphaTauri. That makes Apex's life a little bit easier. However, still a long way to go. Jumping over to the AlphaTauri of Saskia Mall. Shouldn't be too difficult for Apex to get past her. Hasn't been the quickest driver in the league, nor the most consistent. Sorry to say, but it's just truth. As Saskia hits the wall coming in the final corner, that is not looking like any wing damage from the quick flyby I get. Apex is now gaining on the car. Not going to be enough for a dive into turn 1. Going to have to get it through the rest of the lap. Goes to the inside of the corner as Riki appears backwards on the screen. Dives in front. That might have been a reset to track as well that I just caught. That would have been a horrendous accident in real life. As Saskia, on the inside of the corner, seems to let Apex past. That starts the fight back for Apex, back up into 4th. A long way up into 3rd, however, as it stands, Apex will be champion of Season 4. Sam seems to be catching up to the back of the AlphaTauri, hoping to try and put as much distance between himself and the Aston Martin as possible. As Saskia Mall has crashed out of the race, that'll be another safety car. It's unfortunate timing. That will allow the entire field to catch back up to each other. Apex slows down dramatically to get Delta and goes into the pits for another tyre change. Most likely onto the soft compound at this rate, possibly. Actually, no, it won't be. The softs won't make it. I stand corrected. It will possibly be onto the medium compound. Fresh set of mediums to catch up, as I was correct. Sam also pits. As I can't change the camera type. Onto another set of mediums as well. And drops behind the Red Bull. Slight bit of a wobble coming off the corner. Pixels up into 6th as well. Head of the Alpine. Ferrari not quite got enough pace to get past them through the pit lane. and has to settle for 8th. Wadey also dropped into the pits, getting off that set of hards and onto a new set of mediums. Seems like Kiwi finally makes their way back into the pit for possibly another set of mediums. Back up at the front, Blyapper is still on the soft compound tyres, as is Ben. They have yet to pit. However, Sam and Harrison and Apex are all on newer sets of mediums. The worn down soft compound might be identical in terms of grip at this point in the race. I wonder if I can check the fuel loads for any of them at this current point. Let's see. 5 lap old mediums, as Blah and Ben go into the pits to change off of the soft compound tyres. Harrison M takes the lead from them, but is still on older mediums compared to Sam and Apex behind. No penalties as of yet for anyone. Can't get any of that. Doesn't seem I can check fuel from this menu. If I can, let me know. Ben and Blah exit the pits in 7th and 8th. Onto sets of mediums, I would presume. Yep. Looks like mediums for Ben, and actually it's hards for Blah. Looking to go to the end of the race on these tyres. While the mediums theoretically, at a push, could make it, it'll be close. Wadey says, what a crap race so far, taken out and 3 pit stops by lap 8. It does not seem to go your way so far. Definitely not the return you will have wanted. It's unfortunate, as Kiwi spun round and has lost the wing and retires from the session. Unfortunate day for Ferrari. Pulls over to the side of the track. That car will be disappeared before the time the safety car gets back round. As Wadey catches up to the back. Safety car in this lap, we're going green again. Let's jump back up to the top. As Saskia Mall now has left the session as well. Retired at some point. That is not good for Pixels there, it seems, I think. Yep, Pixels is in the wall, as Riki gets a collision for hitting Apex. And Apex has also got a penalty now as well. However, going back to green as soon as the last 2 corners have been went round. The Red Bull accelerates out of the corner, getting a good jump there on Apex. Already got 0.6 of a second gap, but the slipstream will prove powerful in Apex's favour. Not going to be anything else as Riki pulls out for a possible dive and Sam doesn't make it connect. Treeboy and PR Ben looking to have a battle of their own further back. Ben gets past Treeboy, it seems, as Sam drives and Riki Racer battling through the corner. Sam pulls ahead, looking to hump back down Apex, who's 8 tenths of a second back up the road. The Aston Martin and Red Bull going to be hard fighting it. Riki gets a 3-second time penalty for the multiple warnings over the race. That's going to be 8 seconds for them now. Very close to the back of the Red Bull, almost hitting it even. Much later on the brakes, so Sam now gets very close to the back of Apex, only 2 tenths off. Getting a slipstream around the corner. We're going through the chicane, very close to the rear. Might try and make a move. Sam sets a purple sector 2. The battle between these two has been raging on all season. Not going to go for a dive into the one of the final corners, starting in sector 3. DRS not enabled yet. Won't get any advantage down the straight from that, but will have the slipstream. However, so does Apex off of the Red Bull. Round the final corner, nice and tidy. It's going to be a draft train down to the first corner. None of them are going to be close enough to each other to make a dive, it seems. Ben might try and make a move on Riki. Doesn't. Stays behind for now. Oh! Massive crash in the background as Ben and Riki hit each other going through the wall, I think. Riki is out of the race. That is another safety car. The field is neutralised again. This race so far has been non-stop yellow flags and safety cars. We have lost 4 cars from the race currently, and we are only on lap 11. Riki leaves the session. Unfortunate end to the race for Alpine. Not going to be scoring any points today. Not quite sure what happened there. Maybe you need to start talking bad about me. I need some anti-karma right now. Well, you're running down a 6th. You're 3rd last. Horrendous start. Shouldn't have came back. No, I'm joking. It's good to see you back in all genuinity, Wadey. You were a good fighter at the start of the season. Treeboy, Ben, Apex and Harrison M all go into the pits. Sam Drive stays out along with Wadey. They get promoted into the top 2 positions. Blyapper also stays out on the hards. They are the only 3 drivers to stay out. It's looking like hard compounds for the Red Bull. Another set of mediums for Aston. Mediums as well for the Ferrari. Mediums as well for the Alfa Romeo. And mediums for the other Aston of Pixels. The only car that went on hards now is the Red Bull, along with Blah. Mediums for the entire grid except for these 2 in second, no it's not second, 3rd and 4th. Interesting to see how those tyres fare up against all the other runners. Sam leading the race. The whole grid gets shuffled again. It's been up and down constantly between Apex becoming championship to it going on to Bahrain to back to Apex. Now it's back to going to the next round again. Just proving how unpredictable all these races can be. We'll be going around another lap under a safety car. Mainly due to Pixels still being off the back of the grid. Pixels caught up to the back, will be going green flag at the end of this lap. Lap 13 of 29. Spent a lot of this race under safety car so far, be it full or virtual. Australia definitely proving its woes to all the drivers as a street track. Very hard, very tight, and very punishing if you get it wrong. Safety car in this lap confirmed by race control. Your order for this restart will be Sam drives in first, Wadey second, Blyap third, Harrison M fourth, and Ellis Apex in fifth. 6th, 7th and 8th goes to Treeboy 53, POR Ben 12, and FV Pixels. Sam once again in control for the restart. Most likely scenario, copying the same strategy that they did earlier in the race. Definitely slowing up the field a decent amount. Not gone yet, leaving it till round or after the final corner. Not quite yet, not yet. Still waiting. And it's green flag yet again as Apex gets a brilliant restart. Already pulling out ahead, alongside, of the AlphaTauri and the Red Bull, going 3 wide into the first corner, it seems. Onto the grass a bit as the Red Bull goes round and spins. It's unfortunate for Harrison M. Jumping back up to the top, LS Apex from 5th up into 3rd already, passing Blyappa and the Red Bull that has unfortunately spun at the back of the grid. Chasing down Wadey now. Wadey needs to hold on to 2nd. And Apex needs to get up into that position if he wants to win. As it stands, Sam can do no more. It is entirely down to the battle between 2nd and 3rd. However, POR Ben, a very fast driver as well, is also caught up right up to the back of Apex. Might be challenging the fight against him currently. Ben sets purple sector 2, through the chicane, slight corner cut. Apex also does the same for the exit, Very fast. Doesn't look like they're going to go for any dive down the inside of this corner. Ben heaps it in. However, slowly crawling back to the diffuser of the Aston Martin. No DRS for the next few laps. Going to have to be pure drafting pace. It's going to not benefit at all for Sam. Purple sector 3 for LS Apex. As Apex goes round the outside of Wadey, up into 2nd. The 2 championship contenders are now in 1st and 2nd positions. There is nothing more Sam can do. They have to hope that Wadey or Ben can fight against Apex if they want to get the championship down to Bahrain. Purple sector 1 for the Aston Martin. Blistering pace around the track currently, sitting 3 purple sectors. Possibly on the way to secure the fastest lap point as well, even though it is not currently required, as far as I'm aware. Gaining ever more in the Williams up to the chicane. They take very similar lines. Apex on the inside. Has to back out of it there. Slight bit. Sam gets a much better exit off the corner than Apex does. As the Haas and very close. Oh, Haas goes down the inside. Apex has to bail. Apex gets pushed off the road. Comes right back on his way, he lifts off. Round the outside now, that is a lot of time lost there. As Apex goes into AI to clip. Excuse me? Okay. We see the exhibition of new teleporting technology for Apex. Or possibly a defense weapon deployed by Sam there. Back past the Haas, going for a dive around the outside, possibly if the Alpha doesn't let it through. Ben defends very well. Gets a much better launch off the corner. Heading towards now the end of Sector 1. I don't know the corner names or numbers around this track. Wadey is still close up to the back of Apex. Might be able to make a move, possibly, getting good slipstream through these corners. However, Apex needs to get past Ben if he wants to win the championship. Good through both bits of the chicane. Slight over-rotation on exit. Gets the DRS on Ben. Will be gaining up into this corner. Ben won't have anything on Sam due to the pretty large 1.7 second gap, 1.6 now, sorry. Apex gets on the grass slightly on the turn in, does understeer off. Will still be within the DRS range. DRS is wide open, now gaining on Ben. Won't be enough though, as Ben's at the fastest lap of the race. Not going to be enough road for Apex to catch up to the first corner. As now Harrison M sets the fastest lap on the hard tyre at a 1:25.8. That is a large enough gap from the 1:26 that Ben set. As the Haas starts fading in the mirrors of Apex. Still there, still an ever-prevalent threat, but it is starting to get down the road. Ben also pulling up a decent gap on Apex. At the current point in time, the fight will go on to Bahrain. Ben now is catching right up to the back of Sam. This might be an interesting battle for the lead. This could define the entirety of the championship between Sam and Apex. Ben gets the DRS down the straight, will be close enough, so it's a 1:25.3, fastest lap, down the inside for the first corner. Sam tries to hold it off, but will not be there. Ben up into the lead now. The Williams, sorry, of... excuse me. Williams trying to catch up to the Alfa Romeo. There is a spin of Wadey, unfortunate, running right up in the podium positions. Demoted now to last overall. That is very unfortunate for them. Ben now pulls nearly a second gap over Sam. This could be the deciding factor of the championship. Slight bit of oversteer, that's not going to help Sam get back up to Ben. Apex seems to be taking a lot more of a cutting line throughout the chicane. The gaps are slowly opening between the top three. Jumping back to Pixels, seems to be having his own battle against Blah. Aston Martin still in the running, very much so for the World Constructors' Championship. Williams was as of this race, however they were 20 points back, and with Potato 50 retiring, the gap will only widen for Aston Martin. DRS for Pixels down the straight, gaining on Blah, but not very much. Seems to be more downforce running on Pixels' car. That or Blah's just very quick in a straight line. Trying to catch up now. The Ferrari up ahead seems to be getting reeled in ever so slowly as well of Treeboy. I wonder if there's damage on that car. Top three staying between 1.3 to 1.5 seconds off of each other. Gonna need a mistake from one of them to close it up, or another safety car. Pixel's very aggressive over the ending curve there, but that will help his fight against the AlphaTauri, gaining now, pulls out ever so slightly, but backs off again through the corner, goes through the grass. Not going to help him. However, it is definitely close enough through the DRS zone. End to end as Pixel spins round one of the final corners, so close to the end for the DRS zone. Haas getting twitchy off the edge, but now Pixels is down into last. And that is that battle over for the current time being. All cars are pretty separated on track now, the closest being the lead of 1.25 seconds between Samdrives 42 and POR Ben 12. Apex as well, still trying to catch up to the top pack. He's already in third, but he wants to get as many points as possible, but as it does stand, he will be the Season 4 champion. There's not really much more to look at now. As unfortunate as it is, cars do get spread out over the race. There's never a battle throughout everything. If there's anyone that you'd like me to ride on board with, do let me know. Did also notice that Apex knocked over one of those braking markers for the corner. That'll be a bit of a detriment if anyone's running a no-line. I'm unsure if anyone currently has their assist set to that, but you never know. I'm just looking for things to talk about now. Apex is almost within a second of Sam. This could see DRS possibilities through one of the sectors if he can keep it up there. Eight-tenths of a second now. Apex is very close. We'll get the slipstream around the long left-hander of this next corner. Very poor exit off of that. Drops another tenth of a second. But will fight it back throughout here. Within a second of the detection zone. Will allow DRS for this miniature straight. Flap in the rear wing opens. Nothing much gained, but will be even closer through this next detection zone for the much longer start straight. Just to keep it all clean through these final two corners, we're getting it powered well into the straight, cuts a bit as the Williams goes into the pits. Samdrives 42 changing tyres again. Apex gets a free DRS down the straight, not having to pass a car. Sam goes in for soft compound tyres, banking another safety car and getting past Apex again. Got a long way to fight up as Wadey now back into fourth position. Wadey's been all over the grid today. Blah gets up to third now on the hard compound tyres as Treeboy and Harrison M have also pitted. Almost gets caught out on the very tall curb there. You don't want to get caught on that, you will just get beached on it. Pixels is still solidly in last, unfortunately. Did set a purple sector 3 though, on the soft compound tyres, possibly going for the fastest lap point. However, Ben with a comfortable 3.5 second lead, cruising out front. Still got a lot of life on the mediums, most likely. I will check that now, if I can remember how. Yep, 10 lap olds, 6 laps newer than Apex's mediums, but goes into the pits out of the lead. That will promote Apex into the lead of the race. Interesting choice. I would have thought those mediums would have made it to the end, but goes onto a new set of soft compound tyres. I wonder if they are fully new. They are. Also going for the fastest lap point, just like Sam, Treeboy and Harrison and Pixels. Wadey now goes back up into third. Sam goes into fourth, passing the Alfa Romeo. Wadey still in mediums, bit of a slide out of the end of the corner. The lead has changed entirely, for Apex now having a very comfortable 9-second lead. However, Ben and Sam are very close together. Half a second gap now. DRS did prove to be ever so slightly useful. Within 3/10 of the intersection zone, Ben will have the DRS down the main straight of Wadey as well in the Haas. Sam won't be close enough to get the DRS off it, but will get the end of a slipstream. As Pixels has spun round up at the top. Anyway, Ben, down to the inside, dives against Sam, who sets the fast lap at a 1:24.0. Does let the Alfa Romeo past. As Ben also gets the DRS at the end of the detection zone. Harrison M now, so it's a 1:23.3 in the Red Bull Racing Honda. Ben catching up to the back of Wadey now, as well as Sam, ever so slightly dropping off the back of the Alfa Romeo. Very fast driver as he has proven himself over the season. Ben sitting in the purple sector 1, catching to the back of Wadey. Won't be able to make a move through this corner, but will get the slipstream through it the entirety of the left-hander. Wadey gets a poor exit, moves over to defend. Ben's already there. To the inside. Ben will be behind at the detection zone, will get it. Through the chicane, Wadey has to drop back and go wide. That will detriment his race entirely. Sam now gets the DRS. Wadey drops back. Doesn't interfere with the current championship running. Sam now back on the hunt for the Alfa Romeo. As Blah now just 2 seconds up the road on the hard compound tyre. DRS for Sam drives. Ben too far up the road though for it to be of any use. However, there is the second DRS zone after the first chicane. Doesn't quite seem like the Williams driver has the amount of pace required to get back up to the Alfa. As the Alfa Romeo is now catching to the back of the Alpha Tauri of Blyapper. Same place that he met Wadey, just a bit further back though. Won't be able to make the move onto the left-hander. Will catch up greatly though into the chicane. Takes the better line through it. The soft tyre is proving much more grippy than those old used hards. Blah defends, goes left. Goes right, sorry. Ben goes left. Through without any major problems. Up next is Sam though. Will have an easier time getting past the AlphaTauri with the DRS on the straight. Blah also has the DRS, but Sam does have a slipstream off the back of the car. Won't prove to be much though. Not close enough for a dive. There is the second zone after the first chicane though. Soft tyres a lot closer to the back of the AlphaTauri. Gonna go for a dive, possibly. Nope, backs out of it. The AlphaTauri drives off the track. Spins round ever so slightly, half spin. Leaves him wide open to the Haas of Wadey. While the hard tyres were definitely possibly one of interesting choice earlier on, they are proving their detriment now. As Blah is hemorrhaging positions from second, now currently in fourth, possibly going to go down to fifth. Hold on. Sorry about that, had something in. As I look back and Wadey is off the track, half spin possibly with the exit of the corner. That leaves him wide open to the Ferrari of Treeboy possibly. Drops a couple of seconds off of the back of Blah, 2.5 to be exact. Almost hits the wall, 2.7 now. The Ferrari of Treeboy is slowly gaining up. However, it doesn't seem too much like it will matter. There is a 2-second difference between the Alfa Romeo of POR Ben and the Williams of Sam drives. Too much now for the DRS to be taking effect. Apex comfortably cruising out in front with a 7.7 second lead. Been a decently close race now, as the Ferrari and Haas of Treeboy and Wadey are now starting to get a fight between them. Ferrari very close to the left-handers now. Going to get the slipstrings out the corner. Won't be enough room to make a dive through at the chicane. Depends on the exit though for both the cars. Wadey runs onto the grass. Ferrari will have the slipstream and the DRS through to the corner. They are side by side now. Wadey on the outside, Treeboy on the inside. Treeboy goes through on the soft compound tyres. Wadey has to give up the position, but will be close through the detection zone. Through the final corners, need to keep it clean and tidy now. Ferrari slightly on the grass on the entrance. The Haas will get the DRS down the straight. 0.7 of a second. Won't be close enough for this first part of the section. Now, round the corners, bit of a cut. Into the second section. Still won't be close enough to make any dive. It seems Treeboy has gotten the move done. As there is a Sector 1 yellow flag. Who is that? No, that is Sam. Spun round. Down into 4th, 5th, maybe even 6th. Having to fight their way back up. They spin again! No, that is it! The championship slips out of reach. Auto reset kicks in. Sam now down into 7th. I think that is it. As it stands, LS Apex 66 will be your Season 4 champion. Round the final corners. Ben, 3.3 seconds back. Almost a half spin there for Apex. Going round the final corner to get ready to start the final lap of the Australian Grand Prix. The fight between Blyappa and Treeboy still within a second of each other. Jump on board with them quickly. Ferrari will get DRS, I think. No, the Ferrari does not have DRS, just having to rely on pure slipstream down the straights to try and catch up to the back of the AlphaTauri. But I don't know if it'll be close enough though. Half a second for the rest of the lap. Ever so slowly gaining up into the corners. Soft compound tires definitely about to Apex! That's not Apex, never mind, that was Pixels, sorry. My bad. Ferrari and AlphaTauri still fighting away. Half a lap to go now if Treeboy wants to get this move done for the podium. Blyappa needs to hang on just that little bit longer. 0.2 of a second now between them. Heading through the chicane, slight bit of a rotation from the Ferrari. But we jump back on board for the end of the race. LS Apex 66, a season of up and downs, comes round the final corner to be the FVC Season 4 Champion of the World! Winning the race! It is now impossible to catch him in points. A long season effort. Treeboy did get past Blyappa in the end. Back up into the podium position. That is just half a second, 0.3 of a second even, as the Haas in the background spins with the Red Bull DNF. Unfortunate end for the race. But there you have it. LS Apex 66 takes victory in Australia by 1.4 seconds and is the champion of the world. As Wadey is disqualified from parking in the dangerous location. starting 4th on the grid. Fought all the way from the back at some point after a horrific spin. Brings it into 1st. It's an unfortunate situation for Sam. Both drivers fought brilliantly all season. But there can only be one champion. And there he is.